Hello, this is the Chapter 5 review, number 2. This is the 2021 review. All right, we're going to estimate sums and differences first of all. Remember, when we're estimating, we're either thinking about it as something as a zero, as a half, or as a whole, whichever it's close to. And for mixed numbers, we're just going to go to the closest whole. So mixed numbers, closest whole number. That's what we're going to. So take a look at this first one, 4/5. This is closest to 0, half, or whole. This is closer to a whole. 1/16. That's closer to 0, so this would just be 1. 4 7/8. We're going to the closest whole number, so is this closer to 4 or 5? This is closer to 5. And 2 1/10. Again, is that closer to 2 or 3? And it's closer to 2. So 5 minus 2 is 3. We have estimate the product or quotient here. We have 2 4/5. So again, is it closer to 2 or 3? This is closer to 3. And 5 5/8. Well, it's more than a half, so this is really closer to 6. So 3 times 6 would be 18 for this one here. Again, we're just estimating. It's a great skill to have. All right, so this one here is 31 1/2. We're going to estimate that divided by 3 7/8. So is it closer to 31 or 32? Well, it's 31 1/2, so we're going to call that 32. I usually round up when it's on that halfway point. And 3 7/8, that's really closer to 4. 32 divided by 4 is 8. All right, let's express these mixed numbers as improper fractions. We have 1 and 1/2, in case you can't read that. So as a mixed number, let me just grab my pen here. We are going to multiply down, and then we're going to add up. So 1 times 2 is 2. Plus 1 would make this 3 halves. And this one here, I'll just rewrite this as 7 2/3. Makes it a little bit easier to see. We're going to multiply down and add up. 7 times 3 is 21 plus 2 makes this 23 thirds. Again, 7 times 3, 21 plus 2, 23 thirds. Notice the bottom number didn't change. Okay, now we're going to express these improper fractions as mixed numbers. So 14/5, this is really 14 divided by 5. 5 goes in there twice, that's 10. And we have 4 left over, so my answer here is 2 wholes and 4 parts out of 5 remaining. 2 wholes, 4 parts out of 5 remaining. 18/4, that's really 18 divided by 4. Let's see, 4 times 4 is 16. We have 2 left over. So really what we have here, you have 4 wholes and 2 fourths. So let's just write that. 4 wholes and 2 fourths left, which can be reduced to 4 1/2. 2 fourths, you can divide that out and make that into 1/2. All right, multiplying mixed fractions, we have 1/2 times 3/4. You notice I'm constantly rewriting the problems. I don't like the slash. I think it's much easier to work with them this way. I can't do anything diagonally here. I can't do anything diagonally there, so I just multiply across. 1 times 3 is 3. 2 times 4 is 8. 3/8 is my final answer there. Here we have 7/8 times 4/5. Here we can do some cross-reducing. To divide this number by 4 and have 1, and this number by 4 and have 2, that'll make our answer in simplest form. 7 times 1 is 7. 2 times 5 is 10. So that's 7/10. Okay, now let's multiply some mixed numbers here. Let's rewrite this. We have really 2 1/2 times 3 over 1. Well, we can rewrite that again, make this as an improper fraction. You have to do that, so we multiply down, add up. So 2 times 2 is 4, plus 1 of this is really 5 halves, times 3 over 1. Well, when we just multiply straight across here, we're going to get 15 over 2, which is simply 15 divided by 2. It's going to go in there 7 times. That's 14. You have 1 left over, so it's really equal to 7 1/2 is your answer. Sorry about that. Slide it down for this next grouping. All right. So now we have 2 1/2. So it's 2. I'll just redo that problem. Here's 2 1/2 times 3 over 1. And I broke that down into 2 times 2 is 4 plus 1 is 5/2 times 3 over 1. I couldn't cross reduce, so I just multiplied across. I had 15 halves. 15 divided by 2, that's what 15 halves means. That is 7 1/2. So now we're going to do 2 1/2 times 1 1/10. Well, make these both into improper fractions. 2 1/2, again, it's just going to be 5 halves, just like it was last time. 1 times 10 is 10, plus 1, just make this 11 tenths. And cross reduce here, 5 divided by 5, which would be 1, divided by 5, which is 2. Can't do anything here, so just multiply across then. So we have 1 times 11 equals 11, and 2 times 2 is 4. So we have 11/4, so that's 11. Divided by 4, let's see, it goes in there 2 times, would be 8. You have 3 left over, so there's your answer. 2 3/4. 2 3 out of 4. Okay, we just need to write the reciprocal of these numbers, so let's think about it as 1/9. What would you have to multiply 1/9 by to get it to be 1? Well, you just flip it to 9 over 1. Same thing with 8 1/2, but this one's a little tricky. You have to make it first into an improper fraction. So we have 8 1/2. So 8 times 2 is 16. Plus 1 makes it 17 halves. A lot of people think that's the answer. That's not. That's just the improper fraction. Reciprocal is just the opposite, which would be 2/17. Okay, use the reciprocal to solve these problems here. So we have x divided by 3 equals 10. See if I can squeeze this in. Well, this means x divided by 3 equals 10. So what we're going to do is we're going to multiply both sides by the opposite of that. If you want to put a 1 here, you can think of it as 1x. But the opposite of 1/3 is 3 over 1. So we multiply both sides by that. If you want to make this a 1, you can. But these cross off. You're just left with x equals 10 times 3 is 30. This one here. 1/4 of m equals 40. Okay, the way you get rid of 1/4 is divided by, or to multiply it. This is 1/4, 1 divided by 4. We multiply it by 4 over 1, the reciprocal. These guys cross off. You've got m equals 40 times 4, which is 160. It's really 160 over 1, but 160 divided by 1 is 160. Okay, so we have to divide fractions here. Remember, to divide fractions, we are simply going to do the keep, the change, and the flip. So let's do that here. We'll keep this fraction. We're going to change that sign. We're going to flip this one upside down. So now we've done the keep, the change, and the flip. We could divide by 8 here. That would be 1. Divided by 8 here, which would be 2. We can't do anything with the 2 and the 1, so we just multiply across. 7 times 2 is 14. 1 times 1 is 1. This is just 14. Okay, so then we've got 4/5 divided by 3/10. Again, we're going to keep this one, 4/5. We're going to change that sign, and we're going to flip this dude upside down. Keep it, change it, flip it. Well, I can't do anything with the 4 and the 3 going this way, but I can divide this guy by 5, which is 1. I divide this guy by 5, which is 2. So when we multiply across, we have 4 times 2, which is 8. We have 1 times 3, which is 3. So you have 8/3, which is 8 divided by 3. And 8 divided by 3 goes in there 2 times. That's 6. You subtract all, you have 2 left over, so it's 2 2/3. Separate my work here a little bit. There's your answer there. Okay, take a new sheet of paper here so I can have a little more room to work for these dividing fraction problems. All right, so we have 2 2/3. So it's 2 2/3, and we are going to divide that by 1 1/6. So let's make them into improper fractions first. So 2 2/3, 2 times 3 is 6 plus 2, this would be 8/3. And we are dividing that by 1 times 6 is 6 plus 1 is 7, 6. This is where people get in trouble. We are not ready to divide yet. We still have to do the keep change flip. So here's 8/3. And we are going to multiply that times 6/7. Well, I can divide this one by 3, which is 1. I can divide this one by 3, which is 2. I can't do anything the other way. So when I multiply across, I have 16/7. 16 divided by 7. If you think about that, that'll go in there 2 times. There'll be 2/7 left over. All right, now I'm going to move this one up here. I'll do this one in pen. So now we have 4 divided by 2 1/2. Let's make it into an improper fraction here. So that would be 4/1 divided by 5 halves. That's 2 times 2 plus the 1. So now we have the keep. We'll change it, and we will flip it. We can't do anything with that, so 4 times 2 is 8. 1 times 5 is 5. 8/5, which is 1 3/5. If you divide that out. All right, I have 5 bottles that all are 2/3 full of glue. How much glue do I have? So you would have 5 times 2/3. Well, we can make that 5/1. We can't do anything, so we'll just multiply straight across. 5 times 2 is 10. 1 times 3 is 3. So you have 10/3, which if you take 10 divided by 3, it's going to go in 3 times, and you'll have 1/3 left. So it's 3 1/3 bottles left. And let's see. I have 6 1/2 candy bars that I'm going to split evenly 5 ways. So that would be 6 1/2. We're going to divide it by 5. So let's write it as improper fractions first. So 6 times 2 is 12 plus 1 would be 13 halves divided by 5/1. So now we can do the keep change flip. So that would be keep it, change it, and then flip it. Well, I can't do anything this way or that way, so I am just going to multiply. 13 times 1 is 13. 2 times 5 is 10. You have 13/10, which is 1 3/10. So it would be 1 3/10 candy bars. Each portion would be. Okay, thanks for listening.